Welcome back to Calculus 3. In this video, I am going to give feedback on frequently missed items in the quiz on sequence. I am going to include 3 items. The first one is a binary choice item and the remaining 2 are multiple choice items. In the first item, very few got the correct answer, which is false. You were asked to identify if 1 over n in curly braces is a set of fractions. We need to understand the definition of set and the meaning of the notation 1 over n in curly braces. Writing an expression inside curly braces is one way for us to denote a sequence. What is a sequence? It is a function. Consider it as a mapping. It maps the elements of one set to the elements of another set, and we call the first set as the domain. And of course, the sequence has the set of natural numbers or positive integers as the domain. Now let's talk about set. Set is a well-defined collection. If we are going to write the fractions 1 over 1 on 1, 1/2, 1/3, followed by 1/4, 1/5 next, and then we have ellipses to denote that this is infinite, and then we place them in curly braces. This is an example of a set. In some references, however, this is one way for us to show sequence. But to avoid confusion, we may write the sequence by simply listing the terms without the curly braces. In that way, we can easily differentiate sequence from set. Another way to write a sequence is to write an expression that describes the pattern and place this expression inside parentheses, and then we write n is equal to 1 up to infinity to show the elements of the domain, and that is the elements are positive integers or natural numbers with 1 as the least element. Really, the cause of the confusion is the similarity of the notations used. This is how we write set of fractions. Suppose we have a finite set containing 1/2, 1/3, 1, and 1/4. Take note that the order is not important, such that this set is also equal to the set containing 1, 1/2, 1/3, and 1/4. So that's the big difference. In a set, order is not important, but in the sequence, the placement of the terms is essential. Thus, we say that the given statement is false. The given expression is a sequence with fractions as terms, and not a set containing fractions as elements. Now, let's move on to the next item, which is a multiple choice question. A sequence is the terms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ellipses, which is an explicit way of defining this sequence. We need to be familiar with the meaning of explicit. Now, let me give you some examples to understand this word. When we are going to write a sequence in an explicit way, we may have this one. We write an expression in terms of n, and we place this expression inside curly braces. Say we have the previous sequence, 1 over n. We can also have n over n plus 1. Another one is n squared. We can write the subscript to show the domain, or sometimes we just skip that. We can also have 3x plus 1 if we want to use x as a variable. Usually we write n. You can also write equations to show how the nth element is determined. For example, in the Fibonacci sequence, the nth element is obtained by adding the preceding two elements. Here is another example. The nth element may be equal to the preceding element plus 1. These are two examples in which we write the nth element in a recursive way. In fact, the sequence n is the same as the sequence whose nth element is computed by adding 1 to the preceding element. But writing n inside curly braces is an explicit way of defining the sequence, because we don't need to refer to a preceding element. On the other hand, if we have to refer to the preceding element, then this is a recursive way. This is not explicit for sure. This is implicit. Thus, this is the correct answer in the multiple choice item. Many of you chose the recursive way, which is the wrong answer. But well, we learn from our experience. If we have to refer back to the answers of the class, we can see that the choice, the nth element, is obtained by adding 1 to the preceding element, has the highest percentage. The other distractor is the third choice, the set containing the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take note that this is a set and it has finite elements, but in the given, we have ellipses. That simply shows that the sequence is infinite. Another distractor is the set contains the positive real numbers. Well, take note that the given is not a set, and also note that the numbers shown in the stem are not just real numbers, but specifically fractions with denominator as natural numbers. Now let's move on to the last item. It's a multiple choice item. In the precise definition of limit, choose all statements that describe capital letter N. All you have to do is to refer back to the precise definition. And take note that in this test item, you have to make sure that you have chosen all statements that describe N. Fortunately, we only have one statement, and that is the first one. The rest do not describe N correctly, but many of you have chosen the third distractor. Its value must be less than epsilon. You have to take note that in the precise definition, what should be less than epsilon is not capital letter N. Rather, it's the absolute value of the difference of the nth element in N. These are the frequently missed items in the test on sequence. If you have follow-up question, feel free to ask in the comments section. Remember these frequently missed items and include them when you plan for your calculus lessons for your students in the future.